Arko, can you please turn on your camera?
Yeah, hi everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying yes to it at such a short notice. I was really hoping to have a conversation with you. Hopefully, we learn a lot today. So, before we move forward, I would love if you could introduce yourself for the audience, and then we can
Uh,
move forward to the questions.
yeah, sure. I'm Arko, and I'm currently working as a business technology analyst at ZS Associates. From my school and college days only, I've been really interested in technology, and I always try to explore new skills and new technologies. Apart from that, if you ask my hobbies, I love playing football. I'm a lot into sports, and I also like to play the guitar and ukulele.
I would have loved to ask you to play guitar during the session, but that would be too impromptu. We'll save that for the next session. Okay, so what exactly do you do at ZS as a BTA? What is your role?
As a BTA, what we do is, ZS is a consulting company. So as a BTA, we try to devise technological solutions to complex client problems. So like, for example, if our client provides us with a problem, so what we do is we define a solution to that, then check the feasibility of that solution. And then if that solution is feasible, we actually go ahead with the development. So basically, as a business technology analyst, we perform two types of roles. The first is a POC, which is a proof of concept, where we actually design the solution, check its feasibility. And the next part is as a developer, like a software developer, where we actually develop that solution after getting the approvals.
Okay, so your role consists of both technical and non-technical stuff.
Yeah,
Okay, got it. So if you had to describe yourself in 10 words, how would you describe yourself?
yeah, sure. First would be curious. I'm really curious about new technologies. Then, I'm sincere. I would consider also versatile, uh, creative, uh, organized, hard worker, focused, and easygoing, witty, and honest. Yeah, I was honest about my traits.
Right. So I did not count them, but I think you did describe yourself pretty well. You picked a lot of adjectives for yourself. So I would like to call you a narcissist as well, if you don't mind. Moving on.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Right. So tell us
Yeah,
about your schooling and why you chose engineering. What exactly happened from your
yeah.
school to your college?
So during my schooling, I was a lot into sports. Like I did not focus much on academics. So for example, I played everything like football, basketball, and also karate, like mainly karate. So I started karate from the third standard, and like I was really good at it. I was the two times national champion and had also represented India internationally multiple times. So like because of that, I had to go for training every day and also on tours for competitions. So like I did not focus much on academics because of this. But yeah, so my parents were like really supportive and chill. So they were like, just focus on your 10th and 12th. Other than that, like your schooling won't matter that much. Just focus
Hmm.
on the subjects which would actually carve your career path. So, during my 10th, I got really interested in maths, and during 10th only, I started programming a little, like my first Hello World program. So, from there onwards, like I started getting a lot of interested in maths, and because of maths, physics was also like
Easy.
uh, pretty easier, yeah, comparatively.
Right. I don't
So,
relate.
yes, yeah. Uh, so like after that in 11th and 12th, I left karate a little, like comparatively, I focused more on academics. And from there, like I started getting more inclined towards like coding. And So yeah, I did my 11th and 12th in PCM with computer science. So like from there, I started going towards the engineering role. And from 11th and 12th, yeah, I did leave karate a little behind for my academics. And yeah, so during that time, I was more focused on programming and towards academics. So after that, like based on my interest in maths and computer science, I was lucky enough to get selected at Shivnadi University. So there, like we had this unique curriculum where I can get a major degree in computer science with a minor in mathematics. So
Amazing.
I really like that. Yeah, so that was
Right.
like the perfect opportunity for me. So I went there, and
Hmm.
yeah, so I did my 4 years of college there, and those were like the best 4 years of my life. I really enjoyed my college life. It was really fun. I met like some of the best people. I made my lifelong friends. So and in college, like it's also important to have the like a good set of peers that would like challenge you academically as well, and also like make memories. So yeah. Yeah, so like, and from my university only, I got placed at GS, which I'm currently working in. Sorry, you're not audible. Uh, Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm so sorry for the interruption. Some issue with my.
yeah, no issues.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were telling about your college life and how you met the best people. That was till when I could hear you.
Yeah, so yeah, like I was just saying, like it's important to also meet the right kind of people, like those who would also like challenge you in academics as well and have fun with them as well. So like there should be both of. So
Right, right.
yeah,
So, since you were a computer science engineer, why BTA, not SD?
yeah. So like, I wanted a role like bonus. I should be challenged every day, like learn something new. So in BTA,
Yeah. Did we lose you in the middle of it? So I think.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so what I was saying was, so yeah, like I wanted a role which would be like challenging and I get to learn new stuff. Like it should not be monotonous. So as
Right.
like so as in BTA, like I mentioned, we do POCs as well, proofs of concepts, where like we only define the tech stack and the technology which would be suitable for the requirement. So because of that, like we get introduced to a lot of new stuff, and like also we get challenged a lot. Like we have to think through every aspect of the solutioning. So
Right.
that's why I found it more interesting.
Yeah, I totally relate to your point. I recently participated in the ZS Campus Speech competition.
Oh,
That was
nice.
my first experience of a proper case study, and that was more interesting to me than coding. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
wow, this is something that I really like doing. So
yeah.
I might end up in ZS after some time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So back to you. So, what all did you try before landing this job? Like, did you go for internships that was SD or completely non-technical to decide that you want or do not want this thing?
Yeah, so like during my college, I mostly did research internships since like I wanted to learn new stuff as I
Right.
was saying continuously. So
Hmm.
during my college only, what I tried was to get into new fields. Like my second year internship, I did it at DRDO, Defense Research Organization, and
Hmm.
there I did it on quantum computing. So that was like completely new to me. So there
Okay.
also like I learned a lot. So and then in the third year I did it as a research intern at IIT Delhi. And there I did the research project on like statistics and maths, where we developed a summarizer, a text
Hmm.
summarizer. So like I mainly did research internships, and apart from that I did projects on my own. Like I was really interested in Android app development, so I developed my own apps just for fun and for some college projects as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, apart from that, I also took part in the Girl Script Summer of Code. So that was
Yeah, that
also
is
really
how
good.
I found you.
Yeah.
Right. So, why did you not pursue maybe masters because you were so much into research? Like somebody like you who was so much into research, doing proper research internships. Was your first preference not going for masters?
Yeah, no, so like initially I was not sure if I'll go for masters or for development. But yeah, like as I worked on my own projects and like actually got my hand dirty doing projects, like
Hmm.
I knew that I want to go to the development line first, at least for 1 or 2 years. I want to get that experience first. And then after that, surely I can go for masters.
Right. So, according to you, what is the one thing that everyone should focus on in college?
Yeah, so during college, like it's good to learn new stuff. Like that is one trait even the interviews appreciate during their interviews. So you do not need to be a master in something. Like you do not need to be a master in Java or anything for the interviews. What you need to do is to adapt to the requirements. Like when you get a job, it's not like compulsory that if you're very good in Java, you'll get a job related to Java only. You should be able to adapt based on what the requirement is. So for that, you need to be a quick learner. So the best way to do that is during your college only. Just keep your look out for new technologies, create your own projects on that just for fun. Like the idea can be anything.
Mm.
Just yeah, do your own projects and learn something new.
Okay. And if you had to choose between projects and internships, which do you think matter more?
Yeah, so like I believe both are equally important and both have their own importance. So for example, through projects like as I mentioned, you can learn new skills, you can uh, get creative, uh, like create something of your own idea, even
Mhm.
monetize it, like develop an app, add it to Play Store.
Right.
But yeah, for internship, so like on joining ZS, I got to know that being just a good coder is just one small aspect of being a developer. So apart from being a coder, you also need good communication skills. You need to know how to work as a part of a team. And another important fact is like you should know how to explain the complex technical details in plain simple business manner to the clients. So that
Right.
is also really important. So that experience you can only gain through industrial internships.
Mm.
So yeah, both are equally important, doing projects and internships.
Okay. And if you had to give any tips to your younger self that you think you could have done this differently back in college or even in school, what would you do differently?
Yeah, so one thing which I did was, so like as I mentioned, I did both of my internships as a research internships.
Mm.
So like if I knew that I will go to an industry related job, I should have taken one of my internship as a like industrial internship. So how would that have helped me was like in just before ZS, I had interviewed for another company. So, like after qualifying all the rounds during the HR interview, they were certain that I'll go for masters. Like I won't stay in the company. They were certain that I'll go for masters based on my resume.
Right.
So yeah, so one important thing is to review your profile and your CV based on the role that you want. So my profile was showing that I want to go for masters, but like ideally I wanted to do an industrial job. So yeah, that was an advice I can give to my younger self.
Okay. And if you could just outline the whole interview process at ZS so that everyone can know how it works and what kind of skills they look for, then that would really help everyone. So if you could just tell us how it
Yeah, sure.
happens.
Yeah, sure. So the first round was an online exam, like your simple MCQ one, where they just check if you know the concepts, and also some SQL related MCQs also involved in that. And apart from that technical, there were also some questions on quantitative analysis and English. So yeah, once you qualify that test round, the next round is a case study round. So uh, like I went to the CS office for that, and in that round, we were provided a case study. And in that case study, like there were some questions. So you had to understand that case study very well, and based on that, answer them. So for BTAs, it was mainly like SQL queries, preparing SQL queries and plotting the data graphically, like that.
Okay.
So yeah, after that case round, we had a technical interview. So in that technical interview, it was like mainly a discussion on your CV, your projects, and they were just checking some like basic concepts if you are aware of them, of computer science. So
All
uh,
right.
after that, uh, technical interview, uh, we had an HR interview. So in that, like we discussed about like some basic HR questions about like how would you work as a team and on communication mainly. After that, then we had a partner round. So what happens in the partner round is that so we directly communicate with the partners of ZS, like the head of business technology, and,
Mhm.
and we just have a discussion, and they just ask us some question to check our understanding and knowledge. So yeah,
Okay.
that was the final round.
And after that, you get selected. Okay. So like
Yeah.
you decide your role before going for the interview, or you go through the everyone goes through the same interview and then you're allotted roles.
Yeah, sorry. So, like, this was the interview process for BTA, Business Technology Analyst. So, for different roles, the process would differ a little. Like, the case study round, which I mentioned for BTA, it would be a little technical, where you'll have to like write SQL queries and show some data graphically. For BOA, like Business Operations Analyst, this is another role in CS. So, for them, the case study would differ. It would be a little more analytical and on business terms.
Okay.
And then there's another role for decision analyst DAA, decision analyst associate. So for them also the case study round would differ a little.
Okay. So you are interviewed according to the role you choose.
Yeah.
Got it. And what is the scope of growth in your company according to you? Like where do you see yourself maybe 2, 3, or 5 years from now in the company? Or
Yeah. So
if you do, or you do have some secret plans for going for masters.
yeah, I believe I'll go for masters with like no plans currently. But yeah. So growth at CS, like it's a pretty good company for a fresher to join, like as I have experience. So, like in just these 6 or 7 months I've been part of this company, I've been introduced to a lot of new stuff. Like I'm working on Python, for SQL, Spark SQL, JavaScript, GraphQL, Solar, and a lot more technologies just in this 6 or 7 months. So, like you learn a lot, you meet some great people, like my mentors, my leads, they guide you at every step. And apart from that, if you just stay at the company for 1 year, you also get on-site opportunities. Like you get to go to the client location, meet people there, learn more from them. So
Okay.
yeah, like from growth perspective, it's a great company to join.
Amazing. Okay. So that's it for my answers. Now the floor is open for the audience to ask any questions. So, in case anyone has any questions, guys, please type them in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Arko is going to answer all of your questions. So, please ask any questions if you have. Okay, till people are thinking of questions, I'll ask you one. So,
Yeah.
since you tried your hand at Android app development, so like, did you not like it? Like, why did you leave that? Why did you not pursue that?
Yeah, so like Android app development was more like an hobby to me. Like, since if I completely followed it as a career path, like I
Hmm.
was not sure, maybe I would have gotten bored of it. So I did not
Right.
want that. I want to keep it like something as a hobby, which I'll
Hmm.
continue. So like currently also, apart from my work in weekends, if I get something idea, get an idea or something, I do that development.
Hmm.
So I like to keep it as a hobby.
Okay, okay. We have a question in the chat. Nitish is asking, quantum computing is a relatively new field. Does it have a huge scope in future?
Yeah. So what happens in quantum computing is basically that you can compare multiple states at once. So, like in normal computing, a value can be either 0 or 1, right? But in quantum computing, it can be 0 and 1 both at the same time. Like I may not be able to explain it pretty well now, but yeah, you can surely Google it. So it has some great applications. For example, like if there are some NP hard problems, so an NP hard problem is something which cannot be solved like from traditional computers very efficiently. So like such problems can also be solved by a quantum computer and just go off and like in linear time. So, like the advantages of a quantum computer is basically superposition. So, what superposition is basically you have all these states like 0, 1, combination of 0, 1 together, and you can like check through all those states at once. It would be difficult to go into the details and
Yeah,
show.
Nitish is satisfied with that answer for now. If he has any more doubts about that, he can definitely reach out to
Yeah, you
you.
can connect me,
Yeah,
sure.
there's
Yeah.
another question that Saurav has asked, which you have kind of answered, but if you could just explain again, he's asking what are the technologies and tools you're currently working on, and what does a BTA exactly do?
Yeah, sure. So currently, like from development perspective, I'm working as a backend developer where I create like app the APIs using Node.js, JavaScript. So and the technologies like I've currently worked on. So from the Node.js API, we connected to AWS Aurora, which is a SQL database. And then, so currently we have also a requirement to integrate a search engine. So for that, I'm currently doing a POC on integration of search engine where I'm using GraphQL and SolarDB. And I also use Python and Spark SQL. So that is used for manipulation of the data and creation of the final tables which would be used for the APIs. So
Okay,
those are
my
some of the
question
technologies.
related
Yeah,
to this, sorry to interrupt, would be how
yeah,
much,
sure.
how many of these technologies are you used back in college, or did you like pick every single one of these when you joined the company?
Yeah, so like SQL I knew from college as well.
Mhm.
JavaScript I did not have much hands-on on, but like
Mhm.
I had used it a little. And other than that, GraphQL and Solar, I'm completely new to it. So I'm currently learning it as I do the POC.
Saurav, is your answer question answered, or Do you want any more explanations for that? Yeah, it's answered. Any more questions from anyone? Okay, so while we are waiting for that, I'll ask you more questions. So,
Yeah,
is your work more like project based that you're currently working on this project and then you will move on to the next project? Like, are teams assigned to particular projects?
yeah. So like currently the client I'm working for, so we are
Mm.
working on a project for that client. So
Mm.
because like based on that client, we have the current technology stack and everything defined. Next time, like after this project is over, I may move to some other client for some other project. So the tech stack might change. So it's like
Okay.
yeah, as you mentioned, it's project based.
So it's not like if a client has a tech stack that you have already done for another client, so you would get a preference for that particular project.
Yeah, so it's not mandatory like that. Like the project can be anything. You'll
And
have
you
to just
might have to
adapt.
learn new
Yeah,
technologies after for every project.
yeah,
That's a dream for somebody who is as curious as you, right?
yeah.
Nice. So, guys, no one has any questions? Or do you want me to give you 1 minute to ask your questions and then everyone will come up with questions? You can ask anything about switching to non-tech or what exactly does it mean? How much he is working towards non-tech and how much is it tech? Anything. Because I can ask a lot of questions, but this okay. Somebody privately sent me a message and is asking what is your salary, but we'll not ask you that. No, that is not a good question. Saurav is back with another question. He's asking, what are the opportunities for BTA? Like, do we choose development or consultancy, and what would be better?
Uh, yeah, sorry, like I was not able to understand. Like, what do you mean by the difference between development or consultancy? Like, sorry, if we could just clarify.
I think he's talking about future opportunities for BTA. Like when you go in the role as a BTA, do you
Yeah.
have two roads to go to? Either you can go to proper development or you can switch to consultancy. Is that a thing that comes with going for a BTA role?
Uh, no, like, there's no such distinctions. So, like, basically, ZS is only a consulting firm. So,
Right.
like, as a BT, only the solutions that we are providing, the design and everything. So that is only like we are only working as a consultant to that client. So, like, I guess consultancy and development goes hand in hand, right? So, like, we are consulting the solution and then we are developing it. So,
Okay.
mm,
So if you had to get a promotion, so what would like the what would be the next role for you? Would that be completely technical or completely non-technical?
okay. So the next role would be a senior associate. Uh, so, like, currently I'm a business technology associate. So next would be senior associate, and so that like I would then be a lead, like my immediate project lead. He's a senior technology analyst.
Okay.
So, and then after that in the hierarchy, we have consultant. So that's just the role. And the consultants mainly do the project management, like the role of a project manager. So
Right.
he would like manage the business aspect of the project.
Hmm.
And then from the consultant, we have then we have managers, which are just above the consultants. And
Hmm.
above the managers, we have associate principals, and above them, we have principals.
So it becomes more and more non-technical as you go up the ladder.
Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah.
Right. Okay. So Sarah has pinged me privately and she's asking what will be the effect of COVID on placements in the years to come, if you could comment on that.
Uh, yeah, so like currently, like all the interviews as well have switched to like WebEx meetings or Zoom interviews. So yeah, so the online tests won't be affected. Like even the online test can be like there won't be much difference in the online test, but the only difference would be, I guess, in the interviews. So
Hmm.
I had my interviews face to face, which was like I believe was much more comfortable than giving an interview on a laptop.
Right.
So yeah, like we'll have to get used to that, I guess, giving interviews on the laptop.
Right. And then Nitish is asking which search engine is the most hassle-free recently.
Uh, yeah, so for the search engine which I mentioned, so we'll be developing it from scratch. Like we won't be integrating an existing search engine. If, that's what you're asking. So we'll just replicate the behavior of a search engine using our own tech stack and our own data source.
I hope that answers your question, Nitish. Okay. Any other questions? So, do you sometimes think that an STE role would have been better for you, or do you like the whole mix of non-tech and technical that the role offers to you right now?
Yeah, currently I'm very satisfied with my role. So because of the non-tech aspect or the POC aspect, like
Right.
you're forced to think a lot. Like designing the solution requires a lot of thinking, and yeah, I like that part also. And also there's the part of development, which is similar to the ST role. So
Right.
I'm getting the best of both worlds. So I like that.
Yeah, I love your point of view. That's very true. So, guys, no more questions. If you don't have any questions, we'll be finishing the session. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. Because I can ask a lot of questions to him, but the session is for you. Okay, one last minute for anyone if they have any last minute questions. So till then, if you had to like give a suggestion to the college students that this is how you should pursue your engineering years, and like what would be your one suggestion that you would like to give to everyone?
Yeah. So, this may sound as a cliche, but yeah, please do focus on your GPA as well. Since most of the companies have a threshold, a cutoff GPA, and if you don't satisfy that, they won't even let you sit for the interview process. So yeah,
Right.
you should focus on your academics. Have a safe GPA of 8 would let you sit for all interviews. So you should maintain your GPA. Have some
Hmm.
hobbies. Have some hobbies. Blow off your steam. Do pursue some hobbies, and yeah, try to learn something new.
Yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, Saurav is asking for your LinkedIn profile link. If you could
Uh,
just put that in the chat,
yeah, sure.
right? So, guys, no more questions.
Yeah, so Harsha's messaged me privately about my experience at DRDO. So yeah, so DRDO, I had a great experience at DRDO. So I got to meet a lot of like extraordinary scientists. So my mentor was really young, but really an expert in his field. So based there, we what we did was completely new, like quantum computing. So during that time only, IBM has launched some new quantum computers which were available to everyone. And there's this algorithm, Grover search, you can search it up in Google. So it's a really it's a very interesting. You can search that up. So we developed an architecture for that Grover search, which was using higher qubits. So it's going a little technical. You can search that in Google, but yeah. So in DRDO, I got to know a lot of great mentors. We discussed and devised a solution which was completely new. So yeah, I had a great time at DRDO.
Thank you for sharing that, Arko. There's another question. Does a backend developer assume a great significance for a cloud server?
Yeah. So yeah, currently we're using AWS for all the cloud needs. So for backend we are heavily dependent on cloud server. So we're using EC2 for deploying the cloud server. And yeah, you can check out AWS. Like I'm sure you might be aware of that. So AWS is pretty heavily used for everything now.
Yeah, there was a bit of a disturbance from my side. There's another question that Sarah has asked to me privately. She's asking, will online certification matter for the future? Like,
Uh,
doing online courses right now, does that actually make a difference?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, a lot. So, even when I'm a part of ZS, I'm doing certifications parallelly. Like, completely, I've done the certification on semantics integration. So, it's always good to increase your skills. Like, it's always appreciated. And currently, I'm focusing on doing the AWS Solutions Architect certification. Like, currently, I'm working on that. So, yeah, it's always good to learn new stuff and do certifications.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Guys, I have shared Arko's LinkedIn profile in the chat. In case you guys want to reach out to him for anything, any kind of doubts, you can definitely reach out to him. He'll help you out with that. And in case there are no other questions, we'll be ending the session with this, right? Yeah. So, Arko, any last thing, last suggestion that you would like to give everyone?
Uh, yeah. So maybe are you guys mainly in college currently?
Yeah, all the students currently are in college.
Yeah, so my main suggestion would be enjoy college life. Like those were actually the best 4 years of your life. Like you'll really miss them. So enjoy your college life. Do projects on your own. Learn new skills. Always learn new skills. Like it's really appreciated by the interviews as well. They'll always appreciate a candidate who's a quick learner. So yeah, try to learn new skills and yeah, maintain a good GPA for the interviews, for the cutoffs mainly.
Right,
Yeah, and also yeah, sorry, have an hobby to blow off steam. Like apart from watching Netflix, please try to have some creative hobbies. Like that really helps.
right. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Okay. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for taking out the time from your schedule. You gave us an hour of your weekend. That really means a lot. I hope everyone could learn something from your experience, from everything that you shared. And hopefully, it was a good session for you as well. We would
yeah,
absolutely love to have you again with us sometime in the future. And yeah, thanks a lot for joining us.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you everyone for joining. We'll be back again with the session. You guys have the schedule, so let's meet again. Have a good day, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.